2.1 million years ago, long before cities, long before agriculture, long before language had structure, Africa was wild beyond imagination. The land stretched endlessly under a brutal sun. Golden grasslands moved like waves beneath dry seasonal winds. Water was life, shade was survival, and every shadow could mean death. At this point in time, our species did not yet exist, but something close did. Homo Habilis, small-bodied, long-armed, heavy-browed, brains larger than their ancestors, but still primitive. They did not build shelters, they did not farm, they did not write, but they observed. And observation would change everything. A small tribe moved cautiously through the savanna, their ribs slightly visible beneath tight skin. 2 days without proper food, children weak, adults exhausted. The dry season had stripped the land. Small prey animals had migrated. Roots were tough and bitter. Competition with predators was constant, and predators were everywhere. Lions, hyenas, leopards. But one predator in particular had begun studying them. A massive African rock python, longer than most men would ever imagine, thick as a tree trunk at its center, scarred from countless survival battles. This snake did not roar, did not charge openly. It waited, and it remembered. Above the tribe, hanging from a twisted acacia branch, was opportunity. A giant wild beehive, not modern honeybees, ancestral bees, larger, more aggressive, fiercely territorial. The hive pulsed with life. Honey meant fat, sugar, immediate energy. But harvesting it meant pain and risk. At the center of the tribe stood one male, Koro. Not a leader by words, there was no language for leadership yet, but he noticed patterns. Days earlier, lightning had struck a distant tree, smoke had risen into the sky, and bees had abandoned their hive. Cause and effect, memory stored. Now, with hunger pressing against his ribs, he climbed. The tribe below struck stones together, primitive percussion, spark attempts. Dry grass waited. The first sparks failed. Bees buzzed louder. The python shifted in distant grass. But then, a spark caught. Thin smoke rose, and something extraordinary happened. The bees broke formation. They scattered in confusion. Koro struck the hive with a branch. Golden honey spilled into his hands, sweetness dripping under harsh sunlight. But predators are drawn to chaos. The python lunged, fast, silent, precise. Smoke blurred its heat sensing. The tribe survived the first strike, but survival is not victory. Predators adapt. That night, under a prehistoric sky filled with unfamiliar constellations, the python returned. It did not attack from the same direction. It circled wide, cut off access to climbing trees, positioned itself strategically. When it struck again, its coils wrapped around a young male. Muscles tightened like living ropes, bones strained, breath collapsed. And in that moment, Koro made a decision that separated instinct from foresight. He ran toward the predator, not away. He pressed a burning branch into its face. Fire touched scales. Smoke filled the air. The python recoiled. For perhaps the first time in its existence, it encountered intentional flame. That small, unstable fire became more than heat. It became leverage. Days passed.
Stay close.
The tribe needed water, and water meant
something
ambush.
moves ahead.
At the water hole, the python waited partially submerged, only its eyes and nostrils above muddy surface. Perfect stillness, invisible to most. But Koro noticed drag marks in the mud, circular impressions, recent movement. He studied wind direction, gathered dry grass, created smoke that drifted low across the water. The python shifted, vision blurred. It retreated once more. The tribe drank, energy returned, but tension did not fade, because now both sides were learning. Then the python escalated the conflict. It killed a large grazing animal, dragged the carcass deliberately between the tribe and their water path. A trap. The scent would force movement, force exposure, force error. This was not random hunting. This was territorial strategy. The tribe sensed fear returning, but Koro sensed something else: opportunity. He drew lines in the dirt using charcoal from previous fires: waterhole, beehive tree, carcass location, wind direction, a primitive map. The oldest female watched carefully, understanding past without words. Fire had saved them twice, but what if fire could do more? What if it could reshape the landscape itself? The risk was enormous. Grassland fires could spiral out of control, but waiting meant eventual death. So before sunrise, they prepared. Dry grass bundles were placed in a long curved line opposite the wind, spacing deliberate, not random. Koro waited. When the hot seasonal gust finally shifted toward the python's territory, spark, smoke, small flame, then another, then another. A controlled burn line began creeping across the savanna, low, directed, intentional. Animals fled ahead of it. Birds screamed into the sky. The carcass ignited. Thick black smoke rose high above the plains. The python exploded from its hiding place, not hunting, escaping. For the first time in this conflict, it was reacting, not controlling. It attempted to cross the fire. Heat forced it back. It circled wide. More smoke, more flame. The tribe stood on elevated rocky ground watching. The burn consumed only the dry strip they had planned. Green patches remained untouched. The spacing worked. The python finally broke through a thinner section, but away from them, retreating into distant grasslands. Territory lost, dominance broken.
East.
When the flames died naturally, the savanna was transformed. Blackened earth stretched between the tribe and the tall grass. No more hidden ambush points, no more concealed coils near water. The tribe walked cautiously across the warm ash. Koro pressed his palm into the ground. Heat still radiated, but it was controlled. 2.1 million years ago. No monument recorded that day. No historian observed it. But something irreversible happened. Humans did not merely react to nature. They altered it, intentionally. The python still lived, still powerful, still dangerous, but not there. Not in that territory, because something new had emerged. Foresight, planning, environmental manipulation. And that subtle shift would echo through millions of years. That night, the tribe sat around a stronger, steadier fire. Not accidental sparks, not desperate smoke, intentional flame. The injured male rested safely. The child stared into the firelight with wide, reflecting eyes. And far beyond the burned strip of land, the python watched a faint orange glow on the horizon. It would hunt again, somewhere else. But it had learned something too. These primates were changing. And change is the most dangerous force in evolution. The wind moved softly across the ancient savanna. Smoke drifted upward into a sky untouched by civilization. And in that quiet moment, humanity took one of its earliest steps towards mastery of its environment. Not through strength, not through size, but through strategy. Fade into